28-year-old Lin Zhou is an ordinary boat mechanic in a small fishing village by the East China Sea, scraping by fixing old fishing boats for the villagers. At a class reunion, his now successful childhood friend Chun Hao mocks him mercilessly in front of everyone.
Patting Lin Zhou's shoulder smugly, Lin Zhou, after all these years you're still fixing these junky boats. Out of all our classmates, you're the one who's done the least with his life.
Smiling awkwardly, everyone lives differently. I'm content sticking with this trade. It feels steady to me.
Laughing loudly, steady? Stuck in this tiny fishing village fixing broken boats your whole life, that's all you've got.
The classmates' good-natured laughter left Lin Zhou feeling sour inside. He silently finished his drink and left the reunion early. Walking alone down the seaside path home, staring at the dark ocean, Lin Zhou felt a mess of emotions. He didn't think fixing boats was shameful, but his friend's words, "no future," stuck in him like a thorn.
Staring at the sea, muttering to himself, what's shameful about fixing boats? This craft was passed down from my grandfather, after all.
Thinking of his grandfather stirred up complicated feelings. His grandfather had been a renowned master craftsman at the shipyard, but mysteriously passed away when Lin Zhou was very young, leaving behind only an old broken fishing boat and a story never finished. Feeling restless, Lin Zhou went to his grandfather's old fishing boat, Haiyan Petrel, which had been docked at the old pier for over a decade without ever sailing again. He planned to clean out the cabin under cover of night to clear his head.
Flashlight in hand, entering the dim cabin. Grandpa treasured this boat so much. After all these years, it's about time I gave it a proper cleaning.
While cleaning the cluttered bottom of the cabin, Lin Zhou's flashlight suddenly caught a panel of wood slightly different in color from the rest. His heart skipped, he reached out to feel it. Carefully prying open the hidden panel, Lin Zhou found a palm-sized metal box covered in strange patterns hidden inside. It was cold to the touch, yet faintly glowing blue, as if something dormant for years was stirring awake.
Picking up the box in shock. This is something Grandpa had here? I've been fixing boats for years, and I've never seen this kind of material.
The moment Lin Zhou couldn't resist touching the patterns on the box, it suddenly burst into blinding blue light. His mind rang out, and the world in front of him went completely blank.
A mechanical female voice rings in his mind, legitimate heir's genetic match confirmed. World's #1 warship upgrade system now officially bound to host, Lin Zhou.
Both shocked and confused in his mind. What was that voice? Warship system? Have I gone mad from fixing boats and started hallucinating?
Calmly, host, there is no need for alarm. This system was secretly developed by your grandfather, Lin Zhenhai, but never completed. It was sealed here, and its full authority now passes to you.
Lin Zhou sat dazed in the cabin, unable to process it. He never imagined his mysteriously deceased grandfather had left behind something so unbelievable.
Continuing, your grandfather was once chief engineer of a national top-secret warship development program, leading the design of multiple advanced vessels. After the project met an unexpected disaster, he was forced to go into hiding in this fishing village, sealing his life's work into this system, waiting for a worthy heir.
Too shocked to speak. Grandpa. He was actually the chief engineer of a national warship program? This is insane.
Adding, this system unlocks vessel upgrade blueprints as the host completes assigned upgrade tasks, ultimately capable of transforming any ordinary ship into a cutting-edge modern warship.
Despite his shock, the craftsman's curiosity in Lin Zhou's blood quickly won out. He decided to try the system's first small task to see whether this bizarre thing was real or not.
Prompt, first upgrade task, reinforce the hull's keel structure. Follow the provided welding schematics to manually complete the reinforcement. Completing it unlocks the first-tier hull reinforcement blueprint.
Eager to try. Alright, welding I know well. Let's see if this system has real substance, or if it's just messing with me.
Following the system's precise schematics, Lin Zhou spent the night reinforcing the hull's keel. The moment the last weld was finished, the old fishing boat's frame took on a faint metallic sheen. The once rust-covered hull visibly became sturdier and tighter.
Eyes wide, in disbelief. This actually worked? This old boat's frame now feels sturdier than a brand new ship.
Notification tone, first-tier hull reinforcement task complete. Unlocking second-tier upgrade blueprint, propulsion system upgrade.
Having witnessed this incredible transformation with his own eyes, Lin Zhou's last shred of doubt vanished. He decided to secretly keep upgrading this old boat carrying his grandfather's legacy, bit by bit without telling anyone. Lin Zhou spent several nights in a row at the old pier working, which worried his mother, who had long been anxious about his future and marriage prospects.
Bringing over a midnight snack, worried, Jua, you've been coming home in the middle of the night for days now. Is something wrong with your health? Or did you get into some kind of trouble outside?
Reassuring her, Mom, don't worry. I'm just fixing up Grandpa's old boat, trying to get it back in shape.
Sighing, that broken boat of your grandfather's has sat there for years. Why waste your energy fixing it up? Better to pick up more work and save for a wife.
Faced with his mother's simple but caring nagging, Lin Zhou could only smile bitterly. He knew this wasn't yet the time to reveal the secret to his family. To better understand the legacy his grandfather left him, Lin Zhou paid a visit to Old Zhou, a reclusive village elder said to have worked alongside his grandfather at the shipyard for years.
Solemnly, Master Zhou, I wanted to ask you, what exactly did my grandfather do at the shipyard back then?
Studying him with a complicated expression, why the sudden question, kid? You must have found what your grandfather left behind, haven't you?
Old Zhou's unusual reaction only confirmed Lin Zhou's suspicion. Old Zhou clearly knew far more about his grandfather's past and this mysterious system than he'd expected.
Slowly recounting, your grandfather, Lin Zhenhai, was once the chief engineer of a national key warship development program. The warship upgrade system was the crystallization of half a lifetime of his work. Unfortunately, the project ran into trouble in its later stages and had to be terminated early, forcing your grandfather into hiding under a false identity.
Shocked. Then why did Grandpa never mention any of this to the family?
Sighing, the matter involved state secrets. Your grandfather kept his silence until his dying day. He quietly sealed the system inside that old boat, waiting for a worthy heir to one day carry on his unfinished work. Solemnly, since the system has recognized you as its heir, that old man can finally rest easy in the afterlife. From now on, whenever you run into technical trouble upgrading the boat, come find me, this old body still has some use left in it.
Gratefully, thank you, Master Zhou. With your help, I feel much more at ease.
With Old Zhou, an experienced veteran craftsman, secretly assisting him, Lin Zhou's progress upgrading the old boat became smoother and more professional. Meanwhile, the village's fishermen had been troubled by something unsettling lately. A foreign patrol vessel had been operating in nearby waters for a long time, repeatedly using its size advantage to drive off, and even maliciously ram local fishing boats working the traditional fishing grounds.
Furious, this is the third time already that foreign patrol boat wrecked our nets again. If this keeps up, this season's catch is completely ruined.
Helplessly, we've reported it to the authorities several times. They say diplomatic negotiations are underway, but that won't help us small fishermen anytime soon.
Lin Zhou watched the fisherman's plight with growing worry, but couldn't think of any effective solution for the time being. Once, while taking his not yet fully upgraded boat out for a test run, Lin Zhou happened to witness the foreign patrol boat blasting high-pressure water cannons at fellow fisherman Old Li's small boat. A dangerously close call.
Screaming in panic, the boat's going to capsize. Help.
Without a second thought, Lin Zhou drove his boat over. Thanks to the system's already upgraded propulsion giving it extraordinary maneuverability, he managed to pull Old Li's boat out of danger just in time, leaving the patrol boat empty-handed.
Still shaken, that was close. A moment later, and Old Li's boat really would have capsized.
Still shaken from the rescue, Old Li noticed something strange. Lin Zhou's ragged-looking old boat had shown astonishing speed and towing power far beyond an ordinary fishing boat, leaving him puzzled.
Suspiciously, Lin Zhou, when did you swap the engine on this old boat? It felt even faster than my brand new one just now.
Deflecting vaguely. Oh, just tinkered around and put in a used engine, good enough to get by.
Lin Zhou brushed it off vaguely, but deep down he knew the changes brought by the system couldn't stay hidden much longer. Coincidentally, Chun Hao, who happened to be in the area scouting seafood business opportunities, personally witnessed the foreign patrol boat's aggressive harassment of local fishermen. giving him, for the first time, a real sense of what his hometown fishermen were going through.
Frowning thoughtfully, I never realized the fishermen here had it so rough. All this time I was busy mocking Lin Zhou for staying in the village with no future, never imagining that even fishing in these waters has become a luxury now.
This first-hand experience quietly planted a seed of reflection in Chan Hao's mind, though he had no idea yet just how astonishing an act his once-mocked, hopeless friend was about to pull off. In the days that followed, Lin Zhou juggled his daily boat repair work with secretly advancing the system's upgrade tasks late at night. From a full propulsion overhaul to stealth coding to integrating the core weapons systems, the old fishing boat was gradually transforming into a true modern warship.
Notification tone, 5th tier upgrade task complete. Hull stealth coding applied. Disguise system now activated, able to switch between ordinary fishing boat appearance and true warship form at will.
Wiping sweat from his brow, in disbelief. This just keeps getting more absurd. Even professional radar might not be able to see through this old boat's true identity now.
With the disguise system now active, Lin Zhou couldn't resist testing it out at sea late one night. The boat's surface rippled with a faint glow, and in an instant it reverted to looking like an utterly ordinary, rust-covered fishing boat. Even he could barely recognize it as the same vessel.
Amazed. Incredible. This disguise system is flawless. No wonder the system said no outsider could ever spot this boat's true nature.
Adding, this disguise system was personally designed by your grandfather. It perfectly evades conventional radar and visual detection. Only the host can willingly disable it to reveal the true warship form.
Just as Lin Zhou's upgrade project was nearing completion, the foreign patrol boat's harassment suddenly escalated. A near-malicious high-pressure water cannon attack shattered the windshield of old Zhang's fishing boat, cutting his arm with broken glass and drawing blood.
Clutching his arm in pain. These people really meant business this time. If this keeps up, one of us fishermen is going to end up dead.
News of old Zhang's injury spread through the whole village. Everyone was outraged, but felt powerless against such an overwhelming force, forced to watch this bullying repeat itself again and again. As the situation grew more serious, the village held an emergency meeting that very night to discuss what to do. But faced with a foreign patrol boat vastly superior in size and equipment, the fishermen seemed to have no choice but to keep reporting it and wait for official diplomatic action.
Helplessly, everyone, please don't worry, the authorities are already aware of our situation and are pursuing diplomatic channels. Let's hold off a bit longer, please don't provoke them and make things worse. Indignant, hold off. After what happened to old Zhang, that's no joke. Who's going to be next, actually killed?
The meeting broke up without resolution, leaving the fishermen's frustration and anxiety completely unaddressed. Upon hearing about old Zhang's injury and the village's helpless meeting, Lin Zhou tossed and turned all night in his room. Staring out at the dark sea, the fisherman's blood in him finally overcame his long-held caution and hesitation.
Fists clenched, eyes resolute. I can't keep watching my fellow villagers get bullied like this. Since Grandpa left me this ability, today is the day it finally proves its worth.
Chiming in at just the right moment, host's combat resolve has reached the activation threshold. Unlock full authority over the final weapons system.
Firmly unlock it.
That night, Lin Zhou alone piloted the disguised as ordinary fishing boat, now truly a transformed warship, out of the harbor, heading toward where the foreign patrol boat continued to harass the traditional fishing grounds.
Taking a deep breath, gripping the helm. Grandpa, tonight's battle is to reclaim justice for our village, and to answer for the wish you never got to finish.
Confirmation prompt, hull status good. Weapons system on standby. Disguise mode still active. Please proceed with caution, host.
The foreign patrol boat soon noticed this fishing boat lingering nearby so late at night, and without hesitation moved straight toward Lin Zhou's boat, intending to repeat its usual tactics of intimidation and harassment.
Arrogantly, through a loudspeaker, in stilted Chinese, "This is our jurisdictional waters. Your fishing boat has seriously trespassed. Leave immediately or face the consequences."
Expressionless, gripping the helm. These waters have been our people's traditional fishing grounds for generations. It won't be so easy to make me leave.
Enraged that this fishing boat dared to defy him and refused to yield, The patrol boat captain fired a warning shot into the sky and then accelerated straight at Lin Zhou's boat, attempting to ram it off course by brute force.
Sneering viciously, "You're asking for it. Let a shabby little fishing boat like you learn what happens when you don't know your place."
Seeing the enemy's bow about to slam into him, the tightly wound string in Lin Zhou's heart finally snapped. It was time to show this arrogant bully a taste of real power.
Speaking firmly into the air, system, disengage disguise.
The moment the words left his mouth, the once rust-covered old fishing boat's surface suddenly rippled with a dazzling metallic sheen. In seconds, its hull stretched and reshaped itself, transforming completely into a sleek, cold-gleaming modern missile destroyer, towering imposingly over the dark waters.
Jaw dropped, voice trembling. How is this possible? How did this fishing boat suddenly turn into a warship?
Calmly, warship form fully deployed. Weapon systems have automatically locked onto the target vessel. Authorize warning level fire control illumination.
Sternly, authorized. Give them a lesson. Let them know these waters aren't theirs to bully.
In an instant, multiple fire control radars across the warship's hull lit up with blinding red light, precisely locking onto the foreign patrol boat. Alarms immediately blared through the patrol boat's bridge.
Face pale with panic. Fire control lock warning? Whose secret warship is this? How is it even here? Full speed retreat now, don't engage.
The patrol boat frantically turned around and fled at full speed back the way it came, all trace of its earlier arrogance gone, leaving behind a crew still shaking with fear, and on the dark sea, that motionless, mysterious warship radiating cold, quiet authority.
Letting out a long breath, watching them retreat. Well, that finally settles the score for the villagers.
This heart-stopping standoff at sea happened to be caught on a nearby fishing boat's dashcam. Once uploaded online, the video spread across the entire world at astonishing speed, with people everywhere marveling and debating over this mysterious vessel that could instantly switch between fishing boat and warship.
Relayed comment from overseas: "This is straight out of a sci-fi movie, a fishing boat turning into a missile destroyer in the blink of an eye. What kind of hidden technology does this country actually have?"
Overnight, this video turned the once obscure little fishing village and its mysterious fishing boat into the focus of global public attention. The massive public reaction quickly caught the attention of relevant national authorities. A special investigation team led by Naval Captain Zhang Jianjun rushed to the village to conduct a thorough investigation into the true origins of this mysterious warship.
Solemnly, to the village officials, we're a naval investigation team here to verify the details of that sea standoff a few days ago. We hope everyone can cooperate honestly. Nervous and puzzled, officer, we're completely in the dark about this too. None of us know who was piloting that warship that scared off the foreign patrol boat that night.
With the investigation going nowhere, old Zhou, after much deliberation, finally decided to step forward and confess the whole truth to the investigation team. After all, continuing to hide it might not do Lin Zhou any favors either.
Solemnly, seeking out Zhang Jianjun, Captain Zhang, I know the truth. I can tell you everything about the owner of that warship and its origins, but I ask that the organization treat this young man kindly. Solemnly promising, old master, rest assured, as long as the facts check out, the organization will never treat unfairly anyone who has contributed to the nation.
Old Zhou told Zhang Jianjun's investigation team the full story of Lin Jinhai as the warship program's chief engineer, and of the unfinished system, leaving them stunned to realize this all traced back to that mysteriously vanished top engineer from years ago.
Shocked and moved, never imagined Chief Engineer Lin left such a legacy behind, and that it was fully inherited by his grandson. What an incredible twist of fate.
Upon learning the truth, Zhang Jianjun immediately decided to personally visit this young man who, hidden in obscurity, had stepped up at a critical moment to protect his hometown's fishermen.
Solemnly, Comrade Lin Zhou, you carried on your grandfather's legacy and, through your own effort, protected the safety of your fellow villagers. The organization has taken note of this dedication. If you're willing, we would like to formally invite you to join the National Warship Development Program and openly continue your grandfather's unfinished work.
Excited yet uneasy, Director Zhang, I'm just an ordinary boat mechanic. Can I really live up to such a huge responsibility?
Solemnly, whether you can live up to it isn't decided by words, but by the ability you've already proven through your actions these past months. The nation needs young people like you, with real skill, and a heart devoted to family and country.
Taking a deep breath, nodding firmly, then I accept. I will never let down Grandpa's unfinished wish, nor betray the trust placed in me by the organization and my fellow villagers.
And so, Lin Zhou went from an unknown, long underestimated boat mechanic to a rising young talent in the nation's new generation warship development program, his life's path completely rewritten from that point on. Upon learning that his once-mocked childhood friend Lin Zhou was actually the man behind the globally sensational mysterious warship incident, Qian Hao was both shocked and ashamed, and made a special trip to apologize to him in person.
Full of guilt, Lin Zhou, I was blind before, judging you by such shallow standards. Thinking back on it now, I'm truly ashamed of myself.
Smiling with relief, no need to dwell on the past. It's already impressive that you've come to realize this. Let's stay good brothers from now on.
The two exchanged a smile, and the rift that had once formed between them from worldly judgment quietly melted away as the truth came to light. After that heart-stopping standoff at sea, local Coast Guard forces stepped up patrols near the traditional fishing grounds. The foreign patrol boat never dared act recklessly again, and the fishermen were finally able to work the waters their ancestors had fished for generations in peace. The whole village even gained fame from this legendary event, drawing curious tourists from far and wide.
With feeling, life finally feels stable now. Who would have thought that Lin Zhou, the guy always buried in fixing boats, would turn out to be our village's greatest hero?
Smiling, true enough, we really ought to thank him properly. If not for him, who knows how much longer us old fishermen would have had to endure such humiliation.
After joining the program, Lin Zhou, drawing on the system's advanced ideas along with his years of hands-on boat repair expertise, quickly stood out in the new generation warship development work, leading breakthroughs on several key technical challenges and earning the recognition of colleagues and superiors alike.
Gratified, this young man Lin Zhou has a solid foundation, and his ideas are bold and cutting-edge too. At this rate, his future is limitless.
The once-mocked, hopeless boat mechanic had now become a rising star in the nation's warship development program. Before setting off to formally report to the program, Lin Zhou made a point of returning to the old fishing boat Haiyan, which had now completed its historical mission, and bowed deeply to the sea, paying tribute to the grandfather he'd never truly gotten to know, yet whose weighty legacy had completely changed his life.
Looking out at the sea, solemnly, Grandpa, I'll carry forward the wish and the work you never got to finish, step by step. Rest easy.
The sea breeze brushed across Lin Zhou's face, as if answering him across time, marking the true beginning of a brand new chapter. A few months later, Lin Zhou was already able to independently lead a small research team, while the old fishing boat, Haiyan, carrier of his grandfather's legacy and witness to this whole legend, was solemnly preserved by the program and turned into an important hands-on teaching tool for new engineers, still serving a purpose.
To the newly hired young engineers, this ship was once just an ordinary old fishing boat. What made it become what it is today wasn't some stroke of luck from the heavens, but generations of people diligently studying and holding firm to their craft.
Watching the focused eyes of the young engineers below, Lin Zhou seemed to see his own past self, equally full of passion, yet once misunderstood, and the quiet, unspoken devotion his grandfather had always held on to. Old Zhou later, bit by bit, told Lin Zhou more about his grandfather Lin Zhenhai's past, an era when the nation urgently needed a breakthrough in warship technology. Lin Zhenhai led his team day and night, only to encounter, right before a major breakthrough, a mysterious accident whose cause remains unknown to this day.
Slowly recalling, that accident happened so suddenly. Most of the project's data was destroyed. Your grandfather was ordered by his superiors to quietly retire and keep a low profile. He was resentful but had no choice, sealing all his unfulfilled ambition and hard work into this system.
Heavy-hearted, listening. So Grandpa spent all those years feeling so repressed. No wonder he was always a man of so few words.
Old Zhou also pulled out a work journal Lin Zhenhai had written by hand during his lifetime, from an old wooden box he'd treasured for years, and solemnly handed it to Lin Zhou, hoping it would help him better understand his grandfather's state of mind back then.
Opening the yellow journal, reading softly. A day without progress in research is a day I cannot rest easy. However difficult the path, I dare not slack even for a single day. I hope those who come after can carry forward what I could not finish.
Reading these plain yet weighty words in his grandfather's own hand, the sense of responsibility that had once felt vague to Lin Zhou suddenly became crystal clear and unshakably firm. As the upgrade tasks progressed, the system gradually granted Lin Zhou more detailed management authority. From hull energy allocation to precise weapons calibration, Lin Zhou felt as eager to absorb knowledge as he had been back when first learning his trade.
Prompt: Host System Authority has now unlocked Tier 7, granting autonomous control over hull energy allocation. It's recommended to prioritize power supply to the disguise and propulsion systems.
Carefully taking notes. This system knows far more than what I've taught myself over the years. I really need to work harder to absorb it all.
By day, Lin Zhou continued fixing boats for the villagers as usual. By night, he'd quietly slip into his family's dock to push forward the system's upgrade tasks. Despite the exhausting round-the-clock schedule, Lin Zhou felt more fulfilled than ever before.
Rubbing his sore shoulders, muttering to himself. Fixing ordinary boats by day, upgrading a future warship by night. This life really has gotten absurd. But knowing I'm fulfilling Grandpa's wish, it's all worth it, no matter how tired I get.
It was through these days and nights of relentless, quiet effort that Lin Zhou's upgrade project progressed at lightning speed, deepening his reverence and love for this craft carrying 2 generations' worth of dedication. Around that time, the village was assigned a new young technician, Su Qing, responsible for overseeing fishing boat safety inspections. Sharp and no-nonsense by nature, she grew professionally suspicious of Lin Zhou's old boat's frequent late-night trips in and out of the dock, and his increasingly secretive behavior.
Seriously, Master Lin Zhou, you've been busy at the dock every night lately. Is there some safety concern with this old boat? Regulations require me to do a routine inspection.
Deflecting, a little flustered. Technician Su, no need to worry. It's just routine maintenance, definitely nothing unsafe about it.
Su Qing left half convinced, but her sharp eyes quietly took note of Lin Zhou's unusual behavior during this period. One night during a routine patrol, Su Qing happened to catch Lin Zhou at the dock, meticulously calibrating a faintly glowing hull. The sight nearly made her gasp out loud in shock.
Lowering her voice, stunned, why is the hull glowing? Lin Zhou, what exactly have you been up to with this old boat?
Explaining urgently. Technician Su, please don't tell anyone. It's a long story, but you'll have to trust me for now. This thing absolutely won't harm anyone. I'll give you a full explanation when the time is right.
Seeing Lin Zhou's rare, almost pleading sincerity, Su Qing, despite her lingering doubts, chose to set her curiosity aside for now and keep his secret. The foreign patrol boat captain's relentless, escalating harassment of local fishermen wasn't purely about routine patrol duties. Behind it also lay his personal ambition to earn credit and push for a promotion from his superiors.
Smugly, to his deputy, this fishing ground is quite the cash cow. As long as we scare off these fishermen who don't dare resist, this mission review will be another perfect score. My promotion is practically guaranteed. Flattering him, well said, Captain. These fishermen are docile. What trouble could they possibly stir up?
It was precisely this reckless arrogance and selfish ambition that left the captain utterly unprepared for the fact that he was about to fall victim to what looked like an unremarkable old fishing boat. Although Lin Zhou had been carefully hiding it, his sharp-eyed mother gradually noticed subtle changes in her son. Busy all day yet unusually bright-eyed, occasionally coming home late at night carrying a faint smell of metal and welding.
Thoughtfully, this kid seems more exhausted lately, but somehow more energetic too. I have no idea what big thing he's been busy with.
Though she never brought it up directly, a mother's simple instinct told her. Her son was quietly up to something remarkable. Before Lin Zhou finally took action, the village's fishermen had also organized themselves and submitted a joint petition to higher authorities, hoping to draw enough attention to finally resolve the long-standing harassment problem plaguing these waters.
In front of the township government office, we, dozens of fishing households, have jointly signed this petition, urgently requesting the authorities resolve the repeated harassment of our traditional fishing grounds by that foreign patrol boat. We truly cannot bear it any longer. Apologetically, everyone's concerns have been faithfully reported up the chain. It's just that this involves diplomatic matters, which genuinely take time to resolve. We ask for your patience a little longer.
Though this simple yet powerless joint petition failed to resolve the issue immediately, it made Lin Zhou realize even more clearly just how unbearable his fellow villagers' suffering had become. A situation that could no longer be delayed. Injured fisherman Old Zhang was sent to the town hospital for treatment. His wife stayed by his bedside, heartbroken and terrified. A scene that Lin Zhou happened to witness during a visit, further strengthening his resolve to finally step forward.
In tears, all these years of braving wind and rain out on the water, we've endured every kind of hardship, but being deliberately hurt like this is a first. This is something I just can't swallow.
Clenching his fists, comforting her softly. Sister-in-law, don't worry. I won't let what happened to old Zhang go unanswered. I'll find a way to make things right for everyone.
Before deciding to act, Lin Zhou wasn't without inner struggle. He knew that once the warship revealed itself, the secret he'd carefully guarded for so long could no longer be hidden, and his peaceful life, along with his mother's stable days, might be completely upended.
Tossing and turning, questioning himself. Once I act, there may be no going back to how things were. But if I don't step forward, how much longer will my fellow villagers keep being bullied?
Chiming in at just the right time, host, please remember, your grandfather never developed this system to protect himself, but to protect those worth protecting.
That reminder from the system felt like a key, instantly unlocking the hesitation that had been holding Lin Zhou back. Protecting his fellow villagers had always mattered more than protecting himself alone. As the standoff reached its most tense moment, the patrol boat captain, staring at this stubbornly defiant fishing boat, wore an expression full of impatience and contempt, utterly unaware he was about to face the most humiliating defeat of his life.
Impatiently, you're asking for it. 10 seconds to reconsider, or don't blame me for what happens next.
Calmly watching the countdown, gripping the helm. 10 seconds? That's more than enough time for me to show you what real, not holding back, truly looks like.
After arriving at the village, the investigation team also pulled radar surveillance records from the surrounding waters and cross-checked witness statements from that night's duty personnel, trying to technically verify the authenticity of this mysterious warship.
To the technical staff, analyze that anomalous radar signal fluctuation from that night again, more carefully. I have a feeling there's some extremely advanced stealth technology behind all this. Reporting, sir, the data analysis shows that vessel's stealth performance far exceeds any currently known active equipment we're aware of. We may need to bring in a panel of experts for further study. Discussing with Lin Zhou, whether coming clean to the investigation team turns out to be a blessing or a curse, we should be prepared for either, though I do believe someone as earnest as Captain Zhang won't treat you unfairly.
Solemnly, Master Zhou, I've thought it through. Rather than keep hiding it forever, I'd rather openly hand over Grandpa's life's work to a place where it can truly shine.
With that decided, the two of them went together to cooperate with the investigation team's follow-up work, ready to lay out this long-buried story and the present truth in full. After the truth came to light, Su Qing, the young technician who had once nearly stumbled upon Lin Zhou's secret, was, thanks to her solid technical expertise and close first-hand observation of the whole incident, also recommended by Zhang Jianjun to join the New Generation Warship Development Program.
Admiringly, to Lin Zhou, I never imagined that mysterious old boat that had me so suspicious was hiding such an incredible story. Master Lin Zhou, looks like we're colleagues fighting side by side now. Please look after me.
Smiling. Technician Su, no need to be so formal. Let's learn from each other and make this work even better together.
After the incident was properly resolved, the local government held a modest but solemn ceremony for the village, honoring both Lin Zhou's courage in stepping forward to protect his fellow villagers, and old Zhou's years of quietly guarding the secret.
At the ceremony, Comrade Lin Zhou has shown, through real action, what it means for an ordinary person to rise to extraordinary responsibility. He is the pride of our entire fishing village.
The warm, spontaneous applause from the villagers below left Lin Zhou momentarily at a loss for words. Yet it also made him feel, more deeply than ever, the weight carried in protecting the people around him. Although officials never publicly disclosed the details of this mysterious warship, international discussion of the incident refused to die down, with several military analysis channels producing programs trying to speculate on the technology represented behind this vessel.
Speculating on the show, judging from the footage, this vessel's stealth and transformation capabilities far exceed anything within current publicly known military technology. The technological depth behind it is both unsettling and fascinating.
This international discussion, forever shrouded in mystery, further underscored the weight of what Lin Zhou and his grandfather had accomplished across 2 generations. Once settled into the program, Lin Zhou was often invited back to his alma mater and grassroots technical training programs, using his own journey from boat mechanic to warship engineer to inspire other ordinary young people who, like him, held on to their craftsmanship despite humble beginnings.
To the young trainees, what others call hopeless isn't necessarily true. As long as you're willing to settle in and master something to its fullest, one day it will become your greatest source of confidence.
The gleam in the young trainee's eyes reminded Lin Zhou of himself back then, equally passionate, yet misunderstood. A shared, simple, yet precious devotion to one's craft and perseverance. A year later, the once harassed and anxious little fishing village had been completely transformed. Regular Coast Guard patrols had put an end to the villagers' constant fear, while curious tourists drawn by the legend brought increasing prosperity to the local economy.
With feeling, life really feels solid now. Who would have thought our little fishing village would produce a hero like Lin Zhou?
Lin Zhou still held on to that same grounded, meticulous craftsman spirit from before, except now, what rested on his shoulders was no longer just repairing an old fishing boat, but the enduring, unbroken weight of an entire nation's warship program passed down through generations. As the sun set, Lin Zhou once again stood by the all-too-familiar sea, gazing at the shimmering waves, his heart filled with clarity and peace. The words that once stung him, "no future," had long since become one of the most precious footnotes of his life.
Looking out at the sea, murmuring softly, "Grandpa, look, these waters are finally at peace, and the wish you never got to finish, I've carried it out for you, step by step. This, I think, is the best legacy our family could pass on."
The sea breeze brushed against Lin Zhou's face, the distant whistle of returning fishing boats echoing softly. A legend that began with mockery and ended in glory had reached its fulfilling conclusion, while a new chapter of protection and legacy had only just begun. Lin Zhou still faintly remembered how, at 7 or 8 years old, his grandfather would always hold his small hand, crouching by the dock, teaching him to recognize all sorts of boat repair tools, one of the few, yet especially warm memories he had left.
A memory fragment, gently. Zhou, remember, whether you're fixing a small fishing boat or building a great warship, the principle is the same. Never be careless with your hands, and never lose that sincerity in your heart. Looking up earnestly, Grandpa, I'll remember. Someday I'll become a great boat mechanic just like you.
No one could have known back then that those innocent childhood words would turn out to be prophetic, though the weight of that legacy would prove far heavier than the young Lin Zhou could ever have imagined. The year Lin Jinhai passed away, Lin Zhou had just turned 10. The family only knew that his grandfather had died suddenly from years of overwork. No one truly understood what dramatic events he had actually experienced at the shipyard during his lifetime.
Recalling, with emotion, your grandfather passed so suddenly, without even a chance to leave a proper word behind, leaving only that boat he treasured so dearly yet never let anyone else touch.
Looking back now, Lin Zhou slowly came to understand. His grandfather's near-stubborn silence all those years was, in truth, a deeply buried, unspeakable regret and quiet act of protection. Even as the system's authority kept unlocking, deep down Lin Zhou couldn't shake a lingering unease. Was he, a self-taught boat mechanic with no formal engineering education, really worthy of inheriting such a weighty legacy from his grandfather?
Muttering to himself in the mirror, "Can I really pull this off? What if I make a mistake somewhere and let down all of Grandpa's hard work?"
Comforting him at just the right moment, "Host, there's no need to belittle yourself. The solid, hands-on skill you've built up over years of boat repair is exactly the quality your grandfather valued most, staying grounded, and doing the real work."
The system's encouragement, plain yet sincere, quietly eased the self-doubt that had been resurfacing in Lin Zhou's mind. Beyond the advanced blueprints provided by the system, old Zhou also generously passed down traditional, nearly lost shipbuilding techniques he had learned alongside Lin Jinhai back in the day, creating a remarkable fusion between the system's cutting-edge technology and the hands-on skill of an older generation of craftsmen.
Demonstrating hands-on, Zhou, this welding technique here is a method your grandfather personally invented. Don't underestimate it. At crucial moments, it beats even the fanciest schematics the system gives you.
Humbly taking it in, Master Zhou, I really need to learn this old-school skill properly. No matter how advanced the system gets, we still can't do without real hands-on craftsmanship.
Before formally stumbling upon Lin Zhou's secret, Su Qing had, in fact, already quietly logged several instances of anomalous data, the old boat's frequent late-night trips in and out of the dock, and subtle changes in its hull material, thanks to her sharp professional instincts.
Muttering to her notebook, this boat's waterline and speed data have changed way too much. There's no way simple engine maintenance explains this, something's definitely off here.
It was precisely this meticulous professionalism, refusing to let any anomaly slide, that eventually made Su Qing the first outsider to catch a glimpse of Lin Zhou's secret. The patrol boat captain's especially aggressive harassment of local fishermen also stemmed from an unspoken pressure. His superiors had recently expressed dissatisfaction with his squadron's performance, hinting that without a decent patrol outcome soon, his position might not be secure.
Muttering to himself under pressure, if I don't produce results on this mission, the higher-ups won't give me a break. These fishermen here are easy targets, perfect for padding my record.
It was precisely this selfish, results-driven ambition, built on the suffering of others, that ultimately led to his utterly humiliating defeat in that standoff. After news of old Zhang's injury spread, rumors began swirling through the village. Some said the authorities were about to give up on this traditional fishing ground entirely. Others suggested everyone should just band together and move away from this troubled place. An atmosphere of anxiety hung over the whole village.
Worried, at this rate, maybe we really should consider leaving these waters. We can't keep living in constant fear like this.
Sighing in agreement, true, but our ancestors have relied on this sea for generations, leaving really isn't so simple.
This pervasive anxiety and helplessness hanging over the village made Lin Zhou feel, even more clearly, the weight of responsibility resting on his shoulders. Before finally taking action, Lin Zhou spent several consecutive nights quietly observing the foreign patrol boat's patrol patterns and response habits from a distance, determined to prepare thoroughly for the coming confrontation.
Taking observation notes, this patrol boat generally passes through these waters around this time each night. I've got a rough sense of its response speed and turning habits now. That'll make things go more smoothly.
Prompt: based on the observational data provided, the system has generated an optimal response strategy, including recommended timing and fire control response plans.
It was precisely this cautious, meticulous preparation, never entering a fight unprepared, that allowed Lin Zhou to remain composed and strike decisively when the real confrontation finally arrived. In the early days after the incident, given the possible diplomatic ripple effects, relevant authorities handled public information about the event with extreme caution and restraint, only confirming the incident had occurred, without revealing any specifics about the warship's identity or technical details.
At a press conference, regarding the recently circulating video online, our side is aware of it and is verifying and handling the matter in accordance with the law. Details cannot be disclosed at this time. Please refer to official announcements.
This official restraint and low profile, in a way, also protected Lin Zhou and the entire village from excessive exposure and unnecessary public scrutiny. After the truth finally came out, Lin Zhou finally gathered the courage to confess everything to his mother. Hearing her son's bizarre yet responsibility-driven story, she first trembled with delayed fear, then couldn't help bursting into tears, both heartbroken and proud.
Crying and laughing at once, you reckless boy. How could you take on something this huge all by yourself, hiding it from your mother for so long? You scared me half to death.
Hugging his mother guiltily, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't dare tell you because I was afraid you'd worry. But it's all over now. I'll make sure to take good care of you from now on.
Mother and son embraced in tears, this long-overdue confession finally lifting the heavy stone that had been weighing on Lin Zhou's heart. After joining the program together, Lin Zhou and Su Qing gradually developed a mutual professional respect and camaraderie, one bold and innovative, drawing on the system's cutting-edge ideas, the other rigorous and meticulous in engineering verification, complementing each other remarkably well.
Discussing schematics seriously, Lin Zhou, your design approach here is bold, but the stress distribution in this section needs to be recalculated carefully. We don't want to leave any safety hazard.
Nodding humbly, you're right. Your rigor really helps me avoid a lot of unnecessary detours.
This complementary, well-matched collaboration made the project the two of them led progress remarkably smoothly. As his reputation grew, Lin Zhou was frequently invited to visit other coastal villages and towns troubled by similar maritime harassment, sharing his experience and helping them establish more comprehensive early warning and emergency response mechanisms, doing his best to extend this spirit of protection further.
Gratefully, Comrade Lin Zhou, thanks to your guidance, our village has finally managed to set up a proper early warning system. We're truly grateful.
Humbly, this is just what should be done. We're all people who make our living off the sea. Being able to help feels right to me.
After some deep reflection and personal transformation, Chun Hao proactively reached out to Lin Zhou, offering to invest the connections and resources he'd built through his seafood business into the village's future infrastructure and expanding sales channels for local seafood. A way of making up, through real action, for his past disrespect.
Solemnly, Lin Zhou, I was ignorant before. Now I want to do my part to help our village's seafood business really take off. What do you think?
Gratified, that would be great. Nothing matters more than our fellow villagers living better lives. Thank you for thinking this way.
The two childhood friends, once distanced by a careless remark, now found themselves bonded even more deeply through this legendary experience, coming together to build their hometown's future. Although officials remained low-key publicly, behind the scenes, the globally attention-grabbing standoff genuinely accelerated diplomatic negotiations with neighboring countries over the demarcation of traditional fishing grounds, eventually leading to an agreement far more favorable to local fishermen.
Internal briefing. Though this incident arose from a roundabout series of events, it objectively accelerated the fishing ground demarcation negotiations, a blessing in disguise, in a way.
This diplomatic issue, once seemingly endless and long-stalled, was unexpectedly resolved ahead of schedule thanks to Lin Zhou's single act of courage, benefiting a much broader community of coastal fishermen. After late nights at work, Lin Zhou would often stand alone on the program building's rooftop, gazing at the distant, dimly lit harbor, reflecting on the double weight he now carried on this journey, both a tribute to his grandfather's unfinished wish and an unshirkable national responsibility.
Gazing into the night, murmuring softly, I used to just want to protect the waters at my own doorstep. Only now do I understand how this responsibility touches the stable lives of so many people.
This ever-deepening sense of mission, rather than weighing Lin Zhou down, only made him walk this new path with growing steadiness and resolve. Several years later, many of the young trainees once deeply moved by Lin Zhou's story had grown into key backbone members of the program, carrying forward generation after generation. The simple principle he once lived by: settle in and master something to its fullest.
To a new batch of trainees, Senior Lin Zhou got to where he is today simply by holding on to this simple belief, step by step. We need to hold on to that same original intent too.
A legend that began in a fishing village and returned to pure craftsmanship had, in this way, become an enduring spiritual force, quietly carried forward from one generation of guardians to the next. On his first official day reporting to the program, Lin Zhou stood in front of the imposing program building in his ill-fitting new work uniform, feeling both nervous and full of anticipation. This would be where the next true chapter of his life would begin.
After verifying his ID, Comrade Lin Zhou, welcome aboard. Captain Zhang is already waiting inside for you.
Taking a deep breath, fists clenched, Grandpa, I'm here. This time, it's my turn to carry things forward for you.
Program Director Zhang Jianjun personally introduced Lin Zhou to the team's other senior engineers. Though Lin Zhou came from humble origins and had no impressive academic credentials, thanks to his widely known legendary story, most of the team greeted their new colleague with curiosity and goodwill.
Warmly, I've heard about what you did, restoring such advanced warship technology single-handedly through sheer skill. Truly makes us formally trained old engineers feel humbled.
Humbly, Engineer Zhou, you flatter me. I only got here by standing on the shoulders of my grandfather and Master Zhou and other predecessors. I still have a lot to learn from everyone.
Not long after joining the program, Lin Zhou ran into his first serious technical challenge: how to translate the system's brilliant yet unstructured design concepts into a formal technical proposal that met national standards and could be mass-produced. It was an entirely new test for him.
worrying over a table full of schematics. What the system gives me is impressive, but turning it into a standardized document the whole team can understand and use is really no easy task.
Handing him a cup of hot tea. Don't worry, this is something I'm good at. Let's work through it together, piece by piece. We'll crack this tough nut eventually.
Over the following half-month, Lin Zhou, Su Qing, and several other team members worked late into the night almost every day, gradually breaking down and standardizing the system's cutting-edge concepts, eventually producing a complete technical proposal that preserved its innovative essence while meeting all regulatory requirements.
After reviewing the proposal admiringly, this proposal is both innovative and rigorously solid. Your team clearly put in serious work over the past half-month.
Looking gratefully at Su Qing. This is all thanks to our whole team working together. No one person, no matter how skilled, could have produced something this complete alone.
Thanks to this proposal that balanced innovation with rigor, Lin Zhou was invited to present it at a high-level internal review meeting. The first time in his life he'd stood in front of senior leadership in such an important setting.
Visibly nervous, yet trying to stay composed, esteemed leaders, this proposal combines traditional shipbuilding craftsmanship with cutting-edge concepts, aiming to ensure performance while remaining practical to manufacture. I welcome your feedback and guidance.
Nodding approvingly, clear thinking, solid proposal, it's obvious your team put in real effort. This direction is worth pursuing further.
Not long after the review meeting, thanks to this impressive work, Lin Zhou was officially promoted to head of a small research team under the program. The responsibility on his shoulders grew heavier, but so did his sense of purpose and drive.
Solemnly announcing, from today, Comrade Lin Zhou will officially serve as leader of the new generation vessel stealth technology research team. We hope you'll lead your team to even greater achievements.
Saluting solemnly, I guarantee I'll complete this mission and never betray the organization's trust.
After being promoted to team leader, Lin Zhou specially took a weekend to return to his home fishing village, visiting each household to thank the fellow villagers who had quietly supported and accepted him back then. This grounded, grateful character earning him even greater respect from the community.
Moved, look at you, already a team leader, and you still remember us old fishermen. That's rare, and not easy to come by.
Sincerely, Old Lee, without everyone's acceptance and support back then, there would be no me today. I'll remember this bond for the rest of my life.
Outside of work, Lin Zhou and Su Qing would occasionally take walks together, discussing topics beyond work. The bond built on professional respect between them quietly deepened into a subtle, unspoken affection neither of them pointed out directly.
Gazing at the sea, with feeling, come to think of it, I'm actually grateful for that accidental discovery of your secret, otherwise I might still be just an ordinary grassroots technician right now.
Smiling. Well, I should thank you too, for being willing to keep my secret back then, otherwise the two of us might not have ended up as colleagues at all.
The research work wasn't all smooth sailing. During one critical testing phase, the team hit a modest technical setback, with the core components test data consistently falling short of expectations, dampening the whole team's morale for a while.
Frustrated, this is already the third failed test. Did we choose the wrong technical direction from the start?
Encouraging everyone steadily. Failure is perfectly normal on the road to research and development. Let's carefully review the data again. I refuse to believe we can't find the root of the problem.
It was this unwillingness to give up easily that eventually led the team, through repeated review and adjustment, to successfully break through this technical hurdle. When the team finally obtained that qualifying test data, the whole lab erupted in cheers held back for far too long. Even the usually composed and steady Su Qing couldn't help but tear up.
Excitedly, it worked. It actually worked this time. These months of hard work finally paid off.
Smiling with relief, everyone worked hard on this. This achievement belongs to the whole team working together. Everyone deserves credit.
Whenever the program achieved an important breakthrough, Lin Zhou would habitually stay up late writing a letter to his long-deceased grandfather. A letter that could never actually be sent, yet filled with deep emotion, like a report and tribute across time.
Writing softly as he wrote, "Grandpa, our team cracked another tough problem today. I'm turning your unfinished work into reality, step by step. You'd be proud of me, wouldn't you?"
These letters written to his grandfather, though they would never receive a reply, served as the plainest yet most steadfast spiritual pillar supporting Lin Zhou through this arduous journey. Several years later, the new generation vessel Linzhou had led the development of officially launched into service. This ship, embodying the combined dedication of two generations, was solemnly named Zhenhai, forever honoring the old engineer who once lived in hiding under a false name, yet quietly paved the way with a lifetime of dedication.
Watching the vessel slowly launch, eyes filled with tears, Grandpa, the Zhenhai has launched. Your name can finally be openly engraved on our nation's most advanced vessel. This honor belongs to you too.
The waves crashed against the shore, echoing on, as if it were that old engineer's gratified response, reaching across time. A legendary story of dedication and legacy spanning two generations had finally reached its most fulfilling conclusion. Several months after the Zhenhai entered service, a specially authorized documentary crew came to interview Linzhou, hoping to record this legendary yet remarkably genuine, humble story and share it with more people.
During the interview, Comrade Lin Zhou, looking back on this whole journey, what would you most want to say to your past self, back when you were still quietly fixing boats in the village?
Pausing thoughtfully, solemnly, I'd tell my past self, don't doubt the value of your own persistence just because someone else calls you hopeless. True value was never something defined by other people's words, but something you build step by step, through your own honest effort.
After this documentary aired, it sparked widespread resonance across the country. Many ordinary people in equally humble positions, yet holding on to their own craftsmanship, found in Lin Zhou's story the meaning and courage to keep persevering.
Relayed audience comment, watching this documentary was genuinely moving. It turns out that even us ordinary craftspeople can create something remarkable, as long as we're willing to persevere and keep honing our skills.
This resonance and response pouring in from all directions made Lin Zhou realize, even more deeply, that the meaning of his own experience had long transcended his personal gains and losses. Old Zhou, now advanced in years, had long since stepped back from the spotlight to enjoy his retirement, but whenever he heard good news from Lin Zhou and the program, his wrinkled face would always break into a gratified smile, as if that long-held responsibility had finally been fulfilled.
Sitting outside his old village house, gratified, old Lin, the legacy you entrusted to me to protect has finally borne fruit. You can rest easy now, wherever you are.
The sea breeze gently brushed the old man's weathered face. A secret and a burden he'd carried for most of his life could finally be set down, transforming into a peaceful, fulfilled sense of release. After more time fighting side by side and spending their days together, the once reserved, understated affection between Lin Zhou and Su Qing was finally spoken aloud at a celebration dinner marking a successful project wrap-up, their relationship officially taking the next step from there.
A little shyly, Lin Zhou, after all these years walking alongside you, I've gradually realized I can't imagine not having you as my partner in all this.
Solemnly and sincerely, same here, Su Qing. Whatever the future holds, at work or in life, I hope we can keep walking this path together.
Many years later, that once obscure little fishing village still passed down the legendary story of Lin Zhou's journey from boat mechanic to warship engineer. Whenever visiting children came to play in the village, the elders would delight in retelling this story in detail.
To the children gathered around, do you know that these very waters once witnessed a legendary story? A fishing boat transforming into a warship, scaring off a foreign patrol boat? That's our village's greatest pride.
A legend that began in ordinary circumstances and ended in extraordinary achievement had, in this way, become a piece of local folklore passed down through generations, quietly watching over the lasting peace and honor of these waters. As his position kept rising, Lin Zhou paid increasing attention to cultivating young talent within his team. He often reminded himself, if not for Master Zhou and the system's patient guidance back then, he likely wouldn't have made it this far himself. Now it was his turn to carry that legacy forward.
To the team's new members, whenever you run into a problem you can't figure out, never hide it or keep it to yourself. Just come ask me. That's exactly how the seniors guided me, step by step, back in the day.
It was precisely this generous, unreserved willingness to share knowledge that made the team Lin Zhou led exceptionally cohesive and effective. To forever commemorate this legend, the village also formally named the old reef at the village entrance, where Lin Zhou's grandfather used to often go and gaze out at the sea, Zhenhai Reef, erecting a monument recounting this moving story of two generations protecting their homeland's coastal waters.
At the monument dedication ceremony, from today on, this reef shall be called Ujinhai Reef, so that our descendants for generations to come will always remember this spirit of protecting home and carry it forward forever.
The stone monument stands amid the roaring sea wind, quietly telling this ordinary yet profoundly weighty legendary story, remaining steadfast through the rise and fall of tides and the passage of time. At a grand National Science and Technology Innovation Recognition Ceremony, Lin Zhou, in recognition of his outstanding contributions to the field of new generation vessel stealth technology, received a highly prestigious National Science and Technology Innovation Award, the most solemn and significant recognition of 2 generations' worth of dedication, his and his grandfather's.
Reading the citation, award recipient Comrade Lin Zhou, with extraordinary craftsmanship and dedication, carried forward the legacy of his forebears and made outstanding contributions to the nation's coastal defense technology cause. This award is fully deserved.
Accepting the trophy with both hands, eyes brimming with tears, this honor doesn't belong to me alone. It belongs to Grandpa, to Master Zhou, and to every fellow villager and colleague who ever quietly supported me.
Returning home the night after receiving the award, Lin Zhou stood alone on the program building's rooftop, gazing up at the star-filled sky, his heart utterly clear, from a boat mechanic once mocked as hopeless to today's warship engineer entrusted with national responsibility. This journey was never carried by some miraculous stroke of fate, but by a craftsman's devotion and sense of duty that never once dimmed.
Looking up at the stars, murmuring softly, so-called legend is really just an ordinary persistence, carried through to its fullest extent. Grandpa, I think the 2 of us completed this answer sheet pretty well together.
Starlight scattered across the sea, rippling in soft waves. A story that began in mockery and ended in glory had reached its conclusion here, while the spirit of devotion and legacy it embodied would remain, forever brilliant, like this very sky full of stars. After that thoroughly humiliating standoff, the patrol boat captain, far from gaining the promotion he'd hoped for through patrol performance, was instead harshly reprimanded by his own superiors over this serious diplomatic embarrassment, and his career took a sharp downturn from there.
Sternly reprimanding him, not only did the mess you caused fail to win us any credit, it made us a laughing stock for the entire world to see. You'll bear this responsibility yourself. Disgraced and speechless.
The once arrogant, domineering swagger had completely vanished, leaving behind only regret and disgrace. A fitting, resounding warning to anyone who dares to bully the weak through sheer force. Every weekend, the newly built small marine science exhibition hall near the village welcomes groups of visiting students eager to learn. Displayed prominently at its center is the old fishing boat Haiyan, now stripped of all its advanced systems and restored to its original appearance, quietly telling this legendary story.
Explaining to the students, class, this ordinary-looking old fishing boat in front of you actually went through an extraordinary legendary journey. I hope you'll all be as grounded and dedicated as Uncle Lin Zhou, doing every small task diligently.
The children's curious, admiring gazes rested on this weathered old boat, as a seed of devotion, legacy, and responsibility quietly took root in their young hearts.
Solemnly, in Lin Zhou's mind, congratulations, host. You have fully completed this system's entire core mission. Your grandfather's unfinished wish has now, through your hands, been completely realized. This system's task is officially complete.
Silently responding in his heart, thank you for your companionship and guidance all these years. I won't let this legacy stop here. I'll carry it forward, even further.